A shot in the dark. Desperate cries can be heard across the village as the sound of steel clashing against one another echoes throughout the flaming Gulf settlement. There are several platoons of soldiers there, spread far throughout, with numerous battles to protect the citizens as the evacuations are underway. A man of towering height, decked in steel-plated armor, with a long sword at his waist, is barking orders left and right to all those in his vicinity. His long chocolate locks bordering his shoulders as he unsheathes his sword. This man was one of Melheart's most respected officers of the Royal Militia, Sir Arthur Causa Stradivarius. He is the captain of the guard of King Nicholas Emerson Linwood III. Protect the citizens at all costs! Do not let these barbaric scoundrels overrun the village! He rushes forward, scooping up a small girl in the streets who is about to be cleaved, and blocks the attack with his sword. He presses hard against the man's blade, pushing him backward and onto his bosom. The girl is clinging to Arthur's chest, sobbing and screaming for her mother. With one foul thrust, he plunges his blade into the barbarian's abdomen, soaking his blade in crimson. He retracts his sword and darts out of the way before another comes down on him with a huge great axe. Arthur huffs as he swings his blade around, butting the man in the head with the hilt of his sword, and kicks him back, allowing himself enough space to make way with the girl. Her mother is being evacuated elsewhere and screaming for her child, desperately fighting against the guards who are pulling her away. The captain makes his way to the evacuation area with the girl almost leaping out of his arms toward her mother. She sobs, clinging to her mother, who is equally sobbing, having stopped her screaming by now. Thank goddess! Arthur! I was so worried! She hugs her tightly and kisses her on the head. Thank you, Captain. 'Tis my duty, milady. He nods. Now go with the evacuation party. Yes, but of course, sir. She stumbles on her words slightly as she turns to leave with the soldiers who had moments ago suppressed her. Arthur turns to face the captain. Martha sniffles, following her mother. Arthur returns to the center of the village, where most of the men and women of his platoon are fighting off the sieging party. Some lay injured, while others are still fighting. His sword glows with the holy light as he cleaves through several of the barbarians who have overwhelmed a small group of his soldiers. The soldiers' eyes widen at the sight of their captain, and the overall morale rises as he continues to take down any and all enemy forces before him. By thy holy power beseeched unto thee, bring forth thy vigor and strength to fell my enemies and protect those who are defenseless against their might. Divine smite! He shouts as his blade glows with more intensity, and a wave of holy energy covers it, sending terror throughout the remaining barbarians' forces. Many of them look to him with fear-ridden faces, and prepared for a cowardly retreat. Those who were unable to fight were now being tended to by their comrades, as Arthur ordered for the rest of his forces to corner the remaining enemies and take them into custody. Following their captain's orders, they were able to successfully push them toward a sanctioned-off area, where they were cuffed and taken away. Those who were foolish enough to resist were bloodied and brought into custody. Arthur took a gander at the countless bodies, doing his best to heal any and all those who were on death's door. One particular soldier lay choking as his blood-filled lungs were making each attempt to breathe worse. Arthur quickly took the man in his arms, doing his best to flush out the blood, and used his lay on hands to seal the ruptured arteries and caulk the wound. The man, gasping for breath, struggled to stay conscious, looking into his captain's eyes with an immense fear. You'll be all right, lad. Just stay calm. Arthur spoke with a gentle but affirmative tone as he held the man in his arms, cradling his head and allowing enough elevation to help him breathe more easily. The soldier looked quite a lot younger than Arthur, at least by 8 years, with short, gingered hair and deep green eyes. He trembled, gripping tightly to his captain's arm, who was now healing the rest of his wounds. He flinches as Arthur presses his hand against his wounds to heal them. You've done nothing wrong, lad. Do not be afraid. I will not let you succumb to your wounds so easily. I shan't allow it. Not while you're in my arms. Arthur chuckles, helping the soldier to his feet, and slugs his arms over his shoulder to help him walk. He coughs, trying to get over his pain that is slowly subsiding. His lungs are beginning to clear, and his breathing patterns are returning to normal after the captain's healing. No problem, lad. At that moment, one of the female soldiers comes up to him, addressing the captain with a formal broad fist over the chest salute. The soldier happened to be one of his commanding officers, Anesia Scarlet Ravenshaw, who was a wood elf cleric. Her complexion was pale, unlike most wood elves, who had more earthen toned skin. Her hair as white as freshly fallen snow, and quite long. However, it was mostly tucked beneath her helmet. Sir, we have secured the remainder of the enemy forces. I attended to most of our wounded, she says in a monotone voice, with not a hint of a smile on her face. Good, that is what I want to hear. Status report on the evacuation. There's a look of relief on his face as he barks an order. Her lips part into a small smile as she lifts her head and she clears her throat to speak. Everyone we've located has been evacuated from the premise, sir. We are currently scouting the area for any casualties and missing persons. She smiles, giving a firm nod of her head. The soldier wrapped around Arthur is looking less painful, but appears to be quite fatigued. Arthur offloads him to Lanesia, who takes him willingly. Take him to safety. I'll report back to camp after I clean up here, he says, rushing off to sweep the rest of the area over. It didn't take long for Lanesia to reach camp with the soldier, who upon arrival was shipped off to sickbay for a much-needed rest. Lanesia returns to her tent, reporting in, and begins jotting down in her notes the current protocol and status of the evacuation. The camp was in a secure location, a bit away from the village.